G'day everyone, in this video here we're going to be looking at how to construct frequency tables and histograms from data. So we've got this question here and I've done a bit of pre-setting up to save a bit of time of our frequency table and histogram. So I've set these up already. So we've got the question here: the heights of 40 students were measured to the nearest centimetre and recorded, and they're all there. Okay, set up and complete a grouped frequency table using class intervals 140, 145, 150, etc. Include a percentage frequency column and construct a frequency histogram, and then we've got some questions to answer after that. So here we can actually get started. So you have a table and it's always good to look at your highest and lowest numbers. Okay, so we've got 4 that are 175 to 179. So we've got 179 here, that's our highest. And we also have our shortest, which is, give me a couple of seconds, I had it before, which is 143, right next to it. Okay, so that's our shortest and our highest. So then you know where to start your intervals at and then where to end at. So 179 being the highest, we can end it at 179. So now we just need to count how many are in each section here. So just remember 140 and then the next one's 145. So that includes all the numbers from 140 to 144. So it doesn't include the number 145. So we actually only have one of these, okay? So we only have one of these, which is 143 there, okay? So we now look at numbers that are in between 145 and 149. We've got one there, 2, 3, and I should have another one in here, and 4. Okay, so we have 4 of those. So you go through and complete this like that. So I'll do one more from 150 to 154 and we'll count how many we've got. We've got 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we've got 6 there, and I'm just going to fill out the rest of the table because I've already done it, so just to save a bit of time. So then we've got 5 here, 8, 6, 6, and 4. And in the question, we were told how many students we had. So we had 40 students, so our total should equal 40. So it's always good to add up your frequency column here and make sure that that equals the same amount that it was stated in the question. So you add that up and hopefully it equals 40. So we've worked out our frequency, now we need to work out our percentage frequency. So to work out your percentage frequency, all you need to do is do the number or how much of a frequency it was over the total. So our first one for 140, we need to do 1 divided by 40 and then times it by 100. Okay, so this here for our first one will equal 2.5%. Okay, so our one for the next one, so our percentage frequency, so it's your amount over your total, so that's 4 out of 40. And hopefully you already know that this is going to equal 10%. So times 100, so that's percentage frequency for the next one, and that will be 10%. Okay? But it is also good to do how much 1 is, and then you can start sort of working in your head. So you know 6 is going to be 5% higher than 10 because it's 4 plus 2. So it's going to be 15%. And then we've got 12.5%. because it's 1 more frequency above 4 and 1 was 2.5, so it is good to do it that way as well, and that can save a bit of calculation time. Okay, so 15, 15, 10, and you should check to make your percentage frequency equals 100. Okay, so you should check that that is the case as well, because if it doesn't, then you might have made an error. Okay, so this here should equal 100. Okay, so now it asks us to make a histogram. So histogram, you might be aware of bar charts, but histograms, they don't have any gaps in it. So that's the main point of a histogram. It shows data happening one after another. So you have your frequency and you have your values here. Just take note down the bottom. Make sure your values are on clear points of where they start. Okay? And always leave a gap at the start if you're not starting at 0. Okay? So I'm not starting at 0, so I've left a gap of just 1 there. So you can see that we're not starting at 0. Okay? So here, I'm just going to draw up our frequency. Each one of these is going to be worth 2. So we've got 2, 4, 6, and 8. And that should be as much as again. Sorry, the frequency wasn't written too well there. Okay, and I need to label the bottom here. So make sure you label your axes. This is height in centimeters. Okay, and now we can fill in our histogram. So we look from 140 to 145, our frequency was 1. Okay, so that should be halfway up there. Then our next one was 4. Then we had 6. Then we had 5. So you can start to see how it actually gives a visual representation of your data. And we had 8 in between 160 and 165. Then we had 6 in between 165 and 70. 170 we had 6 as well. Now last one, 175 to 179, we had 4. So we can see this gives a visual representation of our data there, and that's the main purpose of the histogram. Okay, so you can tell how many are in each section and where all the data is grouped together. So we'll answer these questions here, and I'll just do these up the top. So we've got C and then I. So here, our first one, how many students are shorter than 150 centimeters? Well, we go to 150, and you can use your histogram or your frequency table. So if we're looking on our histogram, so there's these two sections from here to here. How many are under there? So we look at our frequency. We've got 4 and 1, so this would be 5 students, okay? On your frequency table, you can look at these two numbers here that are below 150. So we've got 5 students. Then, secondly, how many were at least 170 centimeters tall? So we need to look at 170 and everything that is above that. So we go, and I'll do this one in the green highlighter. So we go to 170 and what's above, so we've got 6 and 4 here, so we've got 10. And you can also tell that from the histogram by adding these two together, the 6 and the 4. Okay, so we've got 10 students that are high, at least 170 centimeters tall. So it is important to actually group data like this, because if you're looking at this table at the start, you would have to individually go and count it. So once you actually have your data in a table, it is a lot easier to make, to see these patterns or to get data from it. Okay, so just make sure that you are putting it into your tables or your histograms and making sure that you can read these. So hopefully this helps, and good luck.